Draven is by far the strongest deck in Riftbound, but there's one problem. It's insanely expensive. So I wanted to try something interesting. Can I make a $25 version of the deck actually work? I'm gonna be doing a couple test games online, and if I do well enough, I think I'm actually gonna bring it to a real Nexus night. This is what the Miracle Draven deck looks like, and yeah, we can't afford this. This deck really heavily relies on the core of Ezreal, Seal of Discord, and Stacked Deck, all of which wreck our budget. So instead, we're going to start with the mid-range version of the deck. We can base our deck off of this list that won the most recent regionals in Las Vegas. Now there are a lot of cuts that have to be made simply because of our budget. Stacked decks are $8 and are gonna have to be replaced with Called Shot. Paying the power can hurt, but we still get the card selection. Spinning Axe was $11, but luckily has a pretty easy swap with Longsword. Falling Star is at $10 and can be replaced with Piercing Light. It's a worse rate, but it can be more flexible in certain situations. Now, Kai'Sa's a real problem. She's over $80. So instead, we're going to try running Vayne. We lose the card draw, which really hurts, but a 5 might unit that enters ready a lot of the time is still pretty strong. Darius are going for about $4 each, which may be possible to fit in the budget, but still pretty tight. So we're going to try Vex in that slot instead because it has the same mana value. Bryn here is at $8 and will probably just be replaced with more Dravens. These Dravens are helpful for some gold production for the more expensive power costs of the deck. For the sideboard, Last Rites will just become another switcheroo, Bryn here will become a hard bargain, and Mind Splitters will become angle shots. And this is the first draft of the deck at less than $25. But the real question is, how will it actually do? This is my game 1 with the list, and I'm already realizing something. With my starting hand full of units, I draw another unit, and another, and another, and another, and another. This deck feels like it has way too many units. This normally isn't too much of a problem, but in this case, my hand is getting clogged with them, and because this is a budget deck, the stats just aren't big enough to win fights, which is exactly what Draven needs to do. So, lesson 1. Cut some units and add some ways to boost our might. My game 2 revealed another issue. Vayne. Vayne seemed good on paper, fast conquers early, and decent attacking stats. But, let me just show you.
Top 2, kill red, kill gold. I'll play Falling Star.
Hold on. Wait, you can't do this to me. Oh my god. I might as well try to hard bargain.
You know I'm paying that, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's incredibly fragile and really easy to punish on the crackback as well. So, lesson 2. Might matters, cut Vayne. My game 3 showed my last big problem. Vex. Vex is just really slow and got stuck in my hand this entire game. The effect is interesting, but in a deck that wants to pressure early, she just feels clunky. Slower cards like this don't really match what the deck is trying to do. So, lesson 3. Stay aggressive and cut Vex. So, after those games, I made a couple changes. Vayne is getting replaced with Sivir. She serves a similar purpose of being a strong and fast conqueror, and even synergizes with our power-hungry cards like Called Shot, Rebuke, and Switcheroo. The 3 copies of Vex are getting replaced with 2 Blood Rushes and an Edge of Night. This should reduce our clunkiness and give us more options to boost our might in combat. So let's see how these new changes go. This is Jason, a Rumble enthusiast and my test partner for today. We played a lot of games with the new list, and I was starting to realize something. The deck was feeling way better than it was before. Sivir was by far my favorite addition as it opened up the doors for some strong plays. Here I was able to use Sivir to conquer a 5 might hold. On the very next turn, I was able to set up a Ferris Forerunner and use Called Shot to gank over with the Sivir to push a lead on my opponent. And after playing so many games and even winning some of them, my mindset changed. This deck can actually win, so with that, I think it's time to bring it to a real Nexus night. So I was headed off to Legends Eastridge. But before the game started, I wanted to see how my friends would think I would do on the budget deck. Alright, Jordan, how do you think I'm gonna do, bro?
0-3.
Are you for real?
I gotta be really brutal, bro. It's an underdog story.
Oh, alright, bro.
I'm setting up your underdog story.
Vivi, how do you think I'm gonna do?
1-2.
1-2? What are these? Bro.
1-2 as well.
Chris, how do you think I'm gonna do?
1-2.
Oh my. Alright. I gotta do better than 1-2, bro. So I had a mission. Prove my friends wrong and beat the score of 1-2. My first game was against Leona, a deck that's really good at stunning units and making it hard to win fights. The trade-off is that it can be a bit slow, and it struggles to actually conquer battlefields. So my plan here is simple. Build strongholds, don't lose control, and slowly pressure the other battlefield. I open with Overzealous Fan, into Draven, into Ferris Forerunner, which gives me a really solid early to mid-game board. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I got interaction in hand and my hold looks stable. But then, my opponent starts getting aggressive. He pushes into the battlefield, and this is where things could start falling apart. But by using the fan, my Forerunner holds. This wouldn't be the case for long though, as he gets into the other battlefield and charms my stunned Forerunner. On my next turn, I find a really strong attack, and this is a huge moment. My opponent retreats here, which actually makes things way easier for me, because now I can follow up with Blood Rush and completely wipe the Leona. From there, I take both battlefields and go up to 4 points. Now, I am the one in a commanding position. If I can hold for a couple more turns, the game is mine. My opponent knows this and tries to break through. He pushes in with Fiora, but I have a long sword to threaten the kill. What I wasn't expecting though, was 2 disciplines. This is a scary moment, but lucky for me, I have the rebuke, shutting everything down. And then when he passes, I am now 1 turn away from winning. I just hide a card and pass the turn. He goes for one last risky attack, but I have an Edge of Night to buff my unit and secure the hold. He conquers the other battlefield, but at this point, it's pretty much over. I stack one battlefield with as many units as possible, knowing Leona cannot break through. And just like that, I win game 1 with a $25 deck. Game 2 starts off really strong. I go second and pick Obelisk, which lets me play Draven immediately, which gives me a huge tempo advantage. I set up some early pressure, but then my opponent does something interesting. He plays a second Leona in base, and that's when I realized that this next turn is going to matter a lot. So I go for it. I play Piercing Light to wipe his battlefield and to force out his hidden card. Now, this is a somewhat risky play. I did get to play around his not so fast as he didn't have enough runes, but if he has exactly Defy, I could lose control here. But I'm ready for it, because I have a hard bargain in hand, and I'm just waiting for him to respond. But he doesn't, which means I get to keep it. Remember this, that's gonna matter later. From here, I take control of the battlefield with Draven and start building momentum. My opponent tries to fight back, but it's clear he's struggling to actually push through. So I double down. I commit to strongholds with Overzealous Fans and just try to outlast him. But then, he finds an opening. He pushes in with Leona and Sona by using Zenith Blade, setting up a really dangerous turn. My Draven is knocked out. The next turn, I go for an aggressive play. Using Fight or Flight and Tide Turner, I push out his Sona and set up pressure with Draven. But this is risky. If he has the right answer here, I could lose everything. He plays Zenith Blade, threatening to take out my Draven. But remember that hard bargain I mentioned earlier? Yeah, this is where it comes in. I brought in all my copies from the sideboard, knowing this matchup would come down to plays exactly like this. I play it here, and he doesn't have the answer. That completely swings the game, and from there I push up to 7 points, and now he's pretty much out of options. He has 1 unit and not enough resources to take both battlefields. And he scoops, making that my first match win with the $25 Draven deck. But because I won my first match, I knew it was only gonna get harder from here. I just didn't realize how much harder. My round 2 opponent pulls out a skirmish championship playmat, which means he's already won a competitive event. And then he shows me his legend, a $2,000 Metal Kaisa. Yeah, I think my $25 list is in trouble. The game starts off pretty normal, but it's clear that this guy knows exactly what he's doing. And I may have made it worse for myself. You see, I told him what the video idea was, and the fact that the deck was $25, but that means he knew exactly what my game plan was. This budget version has 3 big weaknesses. It's slower, it has less card draw, and all of that gets punished by my expensive power costs. And he exploits all of it perfectly. He finds a clean progress day, refills his hand, and suddenly, he has all the answers. Then comes Singularity, which wipes my biggest units. And from there, it just snowballs. He follows up with the Falling Star, clearing my board again, and now I'm completely on the back foot. I'm just trying to find enough units to stay in the game. Eventually, I stabilize a little with Sivir and Draven. And for a second, it feels like I might have a chance. But then, he finds another Singularity. And that's pretty much the game. I don't find anything after that, and it's pretty much over. Game 2 was more the same, but even worse. I don't find an early play while he opens with Kaisa, and from there it just snowballs. More card draw, more removal, and I'm constantly trying to catch up. At one point I go for a couple of greedy attacks just to stay in the game, but I get punished hard. And just like that, I lose 0-2, making my overall record 1-1. So if I want to beat my friend's predictions, I'm gonna have to win this last round. For the final round, I was surprised to see that I was against my friend Shayla, who's on her Ahri deck. Game 1 starts off pretty normal, but pretty quickly I notice a problem. She sets up a really strong hold at the Dreaming Tree, and I don't think I can break it. My units just are not big enough, and with the cards she has in hand, forcing through here feels almost impossible. So I try to make something happen. I go for a Piercing Light, but she has the counter. And just like that, I lose a huge opportunity. And from there, she takes control. She drops a blue Ahri and starts reducing my might, and suddenly, I'm the one struggling to hold. I try to fight back, and I even find a moment to stabilize, but the pressure just keeps building. Eventually, I see my win condition. Draven. If I can push through here, I might still have a chance. I commit everything. Longsword, Blood Rush, recycling runes to buff up my Draven, just trying to force this through. But she has the answer. Janna sends him back to base. And just like that, I lose all my tempo. But I have another trick up my sleeve. I have Ride the Wind. I go for it, trying to conquer all over again. But then, she thwonks my Draven, not allowing him to do combat damage for the entire turn. With my other units, I try one last desperate push, but once she drops a Thousand Tail Watcher, I pretty much got nothing left. I lose game 1, making me down 0-1 in the final round. And in game 2, she adapts. She switches to green Ahri, basically telling me that I am not winning any long hold battles. So I have to change my approach. I need to be aggressive. The game goes similarly until I go for a risky play with Draven, knowing he'll probably die. But that was actually part of the plan. You see, she spent all of her runes dealing with him, which gives me the opening. I follow up with Piercing Light and clear part of her board, and for a moment, it feels like I'm actually back in the game. But there's one problem. Green Ari. You see, I was hoping this Piercing Light would be able to kill her, but earlier in the scuffle, she plays a Feral Strength on her, and now she's just out of range. I can't remove it, and because my deck is slower, I can't deal with it fast enough. So, I take one more shot. I send in another Draven, just trying to take it down. But she has the discipline, making me one might off. One. And that's pretty much the game. From there, I can't keep up with her board, especially after another Thousand Tail Watcher hits the field. And just like that, I lose my final round 0 and 2, finishing the Nexus Knight at 1-2. Vivi, how do you think I'm gonna do?
1-2.
1-2 as well. 1-2. 0-3.
Well, at least I did better than 0-3. But honestly, the fact that this deck even won a match is kinda crazy. It still has that aggressive Draven game plan, but you definitely can feel the budget. The deck is slower, the cards are weaker, and against stronger players, the deck can really just fall apart. So, to answer the question, does a $25 version of Draven work? Kind of. It's not gonna win you every match, and you're definitely gonna feel the difference. But honestly, it kinda proves something to me. You don't need a $400 or $500 deck to play the game. Thanks for watching, and good luck, and have fun.
Effective tomorrow, March 31st, the cards being banned are Called Shot, Draven Vanquisher, Fight or Flight, and Scrap Heap. We are also banning 3 battlefields. Those are Dreaming Tree, Obelisk of Power, and Reaper's Row.
You gotta be kidding me.